But when I saw myself, I'm like, I'm going to change this. I go, I want to get on stage one day. And everybody had told me, like, that is so far away.
Age 42, you say, I'm going to get on stage.
I'm going to do this no matter what.
Well, I was, when I became aware of that, okay, I had heard, and you had shared with me over the years you were going to do it, but that's as far as my knowledge went. And so in preparation for today, I went out to Google and I just typed in Mark Kavinsky bodybuilding. And I thought, okay, well, let's see what's out there. And I actually came across some a lot of photos, and I thought, if you're open to it, I'd like to show some of them and let you walk me through a little bit of this.
Sure, I'm self-conscious about it, but go right ahead.
So you don't know what I'm about ready to show.
No, that's
okay. Well, I'll show a photo to you there. And so this is obviously you posing.
This is me, and one thing to know about me is I'm very self-conscious about taking my shirt off anywhere I go. And people ask you, like, why? I'm like, because I'm just self-conscious about it. But yeah, this is me. This is me in a show from last year.
Last year. So you were 48?
48. Yeah, this might have been a year or 2 years ago. I've had more development in my legs since then. But yeah, that's probably the last couple of years.
Do you want to, like, right now take our shirts off and kind of see who can
I actually could. My face right now, if you'll notice, I'm a little more drawn out and gaunt. I have a competition coming up here soon. Season's coming up. I have a show coming, a couple shows for this year. And a lot of them have been canceled and postponed due to what's going on in the world. But I've stayed with it for the last 17, 18 weeks. I'm like, I'm going to find something. I've been dieting down. I'm so committed. And I'm like, I'm going to find a show to do. And I found one.
So right now, your body is how close to being able to do this again?
It's right there. I'm a week and a half out. So I am down to about 5%, just under 5% body fat right now. Next week, I go into my prep week when I start draining water a little bit more and stuff. I go to my fine tuning phase, but I'm there right now. If I had to step on a stage right now, I'd step on a stage.
It's a pretty calculated process to get you to look like this.
Yes.
So you mentioned you were laying by a pool. You were 297 pounds. Yep. What do you weigh here in this picture?
In this picture with me totally depleted and drained down, I'm probably around 224.
Wow.
Off season now, I'll get up to about 265, 270.
Here's a question, and I guess I always wonder it, and people always ask it. When you're not like ready for the show, if you walked around with no shirt on, you don't look like that.
Year round, you can't. It's not healthy.
Yeah.
Right. This is a dieting. When you do competition dieting, your body can hold it for so many weeks, maybe a month or two. Then that's it, because it's not, because you're so depleted and drained. I don't look like this year round. I don't want to look like this year round.
Now you have a smile on your face.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's part of the deal, that you need to look like you're enjoying it. But is that hard to do?
It's hard, because when you're on stage, and you're going to have 400 or 500 people on stage looking at you, and you're in there in your little, posing trunks, and you have 9 judges looking at all your flaws to critique you. People are trying to find what's wrong with you. Now, mentally, I say to myself, and I know this for a fact, 99.9% of the people out there in the audience will never go on stage. So, but when I'm up there, there's a lot of lights you don't see.
So you got hundreds or thousands, whoever's in the audience.
Usually a couple hundred, not thousands.
Okay,
yet.
But you got people watching.
A lot of people watching.
Yep. And so you got hundreds of people watching. Mm-hmm. Most of those people are saying, man, I'd love to look it like that. And then you got 6 judges who are trying to find something wrong with you.
Right. They're trying to, and you'll go through your poses. There's poses that you do. So like you said here, to smile, it's hard to do sometimes because you're very depleted. You don't have any water, in you for 24 hours. So you're up there on stage and you got to make sure you're not cramping up and you're squeezing the muscle. And it's like conditioning. When you walk up the stage, you're sweating, you're hot.
You're beat.
But if you're showing that, you'll notice when people will pose, if they're shaking on stage, they're losing control. You have to not shake. You show like you're in control, you're smiling, and you might be cramping up.
Yeah.
Or you're just like, oh, this hurts, but you don't show it. And when you're on stage, even when you're not posing, when you're off to the side, you have to be in what's called a relaxed pose, but it's anything but relaxed. You're still standing there flared out, holding it the entire time. You have to hold that pose. If you just drop down like this for a second, come back up, a judge who's watching everybody else looks at you and they'll see you. And that may take a point off of your total score if you're not in control, basically.
So it's not just muscle. It's how you're controlling yourself, how you handle yourself.
But it's when you're posing. There's certain ways to pose, and posing itself is an art and a skill. It's taken me years to learn how to pose. It's not just doing your bicep curls and doing most muscular.
Yeah.
There's different ways you're hitting angles to see muscles in different ways.
Well, here's another different angle here.
Yes, this is my
different angle.
This is the side chest pose. And this is one here too, where it's taking me, I can find flaws in this already now that I've changed from 2 years ago to now. Little ways you're dipping your shoulder, turning your waist. You want to show your best assets, and you have to learn how to pose.
So how long would you spend in front of a mirror practicing these poses?
And it's not narcissistic. It's part of the deal.
It's part of the deal.
It's every day for the probably 6 to 8 weeks out from a show. It's probably 10 to 15 minutes a day posing. Because you also have to get that muscle conditioned to pose. It's a different type of way you're contracting the muscles. It's not like when you're doing bicep curls or bench pressing. You're holding the muscles. And then what happens after you go through all your mandatory poses, the judges call them out. They're like, we want to run through them again and then they start moving you around on stage with other competitors. And we want to see you compared to this person, compared to that person. And they're like, okay, we want to see the poses again. And you are just tired. You come off the stage. It's very, very tiring.
What are you doing backstage before you come out?
When you're backstage, you're right there waiting. They have the very backstage they have called is like the pump room. So you have bands, you have mirrors, you're working on your posing, you're doing sit-ups, push-ups, you're getting yourself pumped up, ready to go.
So you're trying to get some blood moving. And
yes. Then they take you back in the stage before you go on. And then sometimes if you're waiting for the group in front of you, you may lose that pump. And you're doing push-ups or whatever. So if 10, 15 minutes goes by, you're like, I need to get on stage.
You're doing this with other people that are going to walk on the stage with you.
Correct.
Is that intimidating? I mean, I know you're competing with one another, but is it kind of you're cheering one another on, or is it
the camaraderie is great? Actually, we cheer each other on.
Is this kind of an individual thing too? It's like what.
It is, but it's also, there's a fraternity because all of us know what it took to look like this and to get on stage. We know the sacrifices we made, what it took to diet, what it feels like. It's called suffering, what you went through. I know what those guys went through. They know so there's a mutual respect.